Hello team, welcome to my session on the overview of CompTIA Security Plus 601. My name is Prab Nair. I have a 15 years of experience in information security consulting, and you can refer my LinkedIn profile for more information. So today agenda is to understand CompTIA Security Plus. Those who are new to the security or those who are new to the cyber security, those who have no visibility about what is CompTIA Security Plus, we're going to cover that section and how the CompTIA Security Plus will help you to get your first job in cybersecurity. What is the new SYO 601 course all about? Exam details about the new CompTIA Security Plus 601. What is the concept of performance based questions? Because in some session I have seen this section was completely missing. So I thought I will give more attention to this particular section, because lot of students who failed in CompTIA Security Plus, they failed because they are unable to understand what is the performance based question and how to evaluate that. And the last but not the least, we're going to cover about the detailed course outline of the new CompTIA Security Plus 601. So let's start the first part. What is CompTIA Security Plus? See, cybersecurity attacks are continue to be grow in tremendously in 2021 also, in the previous year also. So increasingly more job roles are tasked with the baseline security readiness and response to the address today threats. So Security Plus reflect that skill relevant to those job roles and prepare the candidate to be a more proactive in preventing such attacks in future. So CompTIA Security Plus certification will verify the successful candidate has a knowledge and skill which is required to assess the security posture of an enterprise environment and recommend all the security controls which is required for them to protect from all kind of an attack. So ultimate goal, example like we have an organization here. We have an organization. We have a firewalls here. Now what is firewall? Okay, some people are doing some kind of an attack on the organization. They're trying to bypass the firewall. They hack into the servers, which is basically has a direct loss for the organization. Okay, they have a direct loss on the organization. So what kind of a threats we have? What is virus? What is Trojan? What is firewall? What is server? And tomorrow any kind of a incident happen where they bypass the firewall, hack the system. So there should be someone who can respond to these attacks. There should be someone who can assess the entire security posture of an organization, by which he can able to protect the organization from further attack. So all those things we're going to cover in a CompTIA Security Plus. Trust me, the question language of the Security Plus is far difficult than any other management certifications. Because I am a guy who did CISSP, I am a guy who did CSSLP, I am a guy who did CASP, I am a guy who did Security Plus also. So trust me, the language, the thought process they test in the exam is have a different level. So that is why it is very important for you to understand the concepts first, then understand the context, and then understand the perspective of the exam. Okay, that's why I give you the high level idea here. This kind of an attack which happen, if it attack happen, how to defend that attacks and how to prevent such attack in future. So all those things are covered in the CompTIA Security Plus. So ultimate goal of a Security Plus certification, verify the candidate has a knowledge and skill by which he can assess the security posture of an organization and also recommend the necessary controls by which the organization can able to protect, and also based on the business understanding assess the risk, identify the compliance parameters. Everything is covered in the Security Plus. Prab, I'm a fresher, can I do this? Definitely you can do this. Prab, I have a solid 20 years of experience in IT, can I do this? Yes. There is a myth about Security Plus that it is only for the beginners. No, even the person with the 15 years of experience in the IT and they want to do the transition from the IT to security, this is the perfect certification for that. So CompTIA Security Plus certification will validate everything, prove everything, and by which they achieve all the major things which is required to be a cybersecurity expert. So moral of the story, what is the minimum knowledge is required for cybersecurity? Okay, what is the minimum knowledge is required for cybersecurity? That is covered in the CompTIA Security Plus, because it is a global certification that proves the baseline skill needed to perform the core security solutions. Second important thing, in US, there is a job roles in the Department of Defense. So the best advantage of the CompTIA Security Plus is it is accredited under the 8570 compliance. So this course meeting all the requirement which is required for the 8570 compliance. Along with that, CompTIA itself is meeting the 17024 standard. It means any organization who has a right to issue the certification. So CompTIA Security Plus basically has that particular authorization. So two major reasons to go for the Security Plus. If you're working in the DoD and want to move to the next level, this certification already meet the 8570 criteria, and along with that, the CompTIA itself are accredited from 17024. It means they have an authority to issue the certificates to the user or to the candidate. So they covering the more technical skills, core technical skills. Okay, they're covering the most core technical skills. So because Security Plus is completely a hands-on certification. Okay, even in the exam also they test the concepts, the practical concept. It is not about only how to achieve confidentiality and this is all. No, they actually bring the environment in the exam, and there you will act like a security practitioner, and by that you can able to resolve the issues, because Security Plus is the only baseline cybersecurity certification which is focuses on the practical skills and make sure the security professional has a better prepare to problem solve the different kind of a complex issue. So what are the areas Security Plus used to cover? We're going to discuss. So it covered the risk assessment and management. It give you the practical experience of how to conduct the risk assessment, how to prepare the incident response. What is incident response? Tomorrow the system was infected with the virus and we need to respond to that. How to respond to that is covered in the incident response. And forensics. If incident happen, how to investigate, who commit the crime, that is covered in the forensic. Now let me reframe this certification, okay, in a very high level. You know, in 1990s or 1985 or 2000 initial era, people want to do the job in a help desk. Okay, there is a job in a help desk. So for that, what people used to do, they do the Microsoft certification, they do Linux certification, they do network certifications. Same like now, for the security response and all that, there is a level 1 team. They are the one who initially respond to all the incidents and everything. So now we have a user here. Now user is currently working on it. Now user suddenly found the system was shut down. Definitely we will call the help desk and he will help us with the restarting the system. Or it has a network issue, we have a dedicated network administrator. Same like any kind of a security suspicious activity happening in the system. In that case, we called as a cybersecurity expert. What are the initial hygiene he need to check? What are the initial assessment need to be checked? That is covered in the Security Plus. So that is why Security Plus, that's why it is called as a foundational level cybersecurity certification. It's a vendor neutral certification in which we cover the Windows also, Linux also, Cisco also, and other things, but more from the vendor neutral point of view. Example, DHCP is a concept covered in the Linux also. It is covered in the Windows also. It's up to you how you basically take this perspective. So from that point of view, the certification has been designed. If you want to go in the next level where you have to enhance your career in a core products, and we have a product level certification. So same like the way we have a help desk which used to troubleshoot the system. Here we have a cybersecurity help desk or level 1 professionals who troubleshoot the cybersecurity issues in the system. Along with that, Security Plus talk about the cloud operation, security controls, and how to control the security in the enterprise network. I'm not talking about a specific version of a 601 or 501. I'm talking about what is covered in the CompTIA Security Plus. So they help us to understand what is the risk assessment, incident response, forensics, hybrid cloud operations. Hybrid cloud operation they have introduced in the new syllabus of 601. Then also help us to understand what kind of a security controls we have. Like we have a 3 type and 7 category of controls. Then we talk about the enterprise network. So all those things are the part of the CompTIA Security Plus. So what is new in the Security Plus 601? So it basically validate your practical security problem skills. Example, it basically help us to understand the security posture. It help us to understand how to assess the security posture of an organization. Example, like I want to implement some necessary control. Before implementing any necessary controls, I need to assess what kind of a gaps we have. So the gaps understanding will become in the first stage. So first assess the security postures of an enterprise, then implement the necessary control, understand what kind of a necessary controls we have, necessary security solutions we have, that we're going to cover. The second part, once we basically assess, we do the continuous monitoring to make sure the organization is protected from all kind of new threats, new vulnerabilities. And now they have moved from on-prem to cloud. They basically now assess the mobile, which is called bring your device. And the new part in 2020 syllabus is the IoT. IoT is a part of a new version in the Security 601. So IoT, cloud, these are the new aspect, because so far they're talking about monitor and secure on-prem, but now they're talking about the dynamic environment where the person carry the data in a mobile, and mobile is always biggest prone for data thefting. So what kind of a security controls, MDM, containerization, all are covered in the Security 601. Along with the IoT security, cloud security, all those things are covered in the monitor and secure area. The third is called as a operate. Now once you monitor and secure, you find some gaps. So make sure we try to understand what is the law we have, because by end of the day, organization drive their business as per the law. If I'm doing a business in Europe, example, if I'm doing a business in Europe, so the biggest privacy risk privacy compliance I need to abide is GDPR. So even in this particular certification in Security Plus, it gives them understanding about what is law, what is regulation, how to map the business with the legal aspect, how to create a policies, what is governance. Governance is all about the set of operation, what is risk, what is compliance, all are basically part in the operate phase. And last is called as identify, analyze and respond to security events and incidents, where they give you the picture of all the things, how to respond to the events. So by end of the day, Security 601 is cover the 4 sections. First, identify the gaps, then monitor as per the company requirement, operate the services as per the legal regulatory requirement, and whatever the gap you have identified, respond to that in a timely manner. So these are the 4 areas which is covered in the 601. So what are the exam details of 601? First, number of questions are 90. Now when it comes to 90, now these 90 questions are divided into 2 parts. Okay, 90 questions are divided into 2 parts. First, there will be performance based questions. There will be 2 to 5 performance based question. If you have a bad luck, it will goes to 10. It is a high scoring area and one of the complex area. The person failed in the Security Plus because of performance based question. And then second is called as a multiple choice, where they will give you a question and you have a 4 option to answer. So number of questions are 90. It was a multiple choice and performance based we discussed. The length of the test is 90 minutes. Time will not be the enemy if you spend wisely. It is my suggestion. Okay. Time will not be the enemy. Now for Security Plus, as CompTIA say that there should be a 2 years of work experience required in IT. Definitely not to secure something. You should know what is the basic concepts like DHCP, Windows, networking concepts. So at least 2 years of work experience is required. It required the knowledge of hands-on technical information security experience, broad knowledge of security concepts. And if you want to pass this exam, you need to score 750 out of 900. So passing score is 750 out of 900. So I want to give more emphasis on the performance based question, because performance based questions are test the candidate ability to solve the problem in a simulated and virtual environment, and 2 to 5 simulators will be there in the real exam. So that's why I thought I will spend more time on the performance based questions. So performance based questions are the type of question that assess the candidate ability to solve the problem. Now what is that? Now they will give you one diagram example. Okay, so there will be a diagram here, firewall example. Okay, there will be a web server, there will be a DHCP server. Okay, they will tell you, okay, we need to configure some basic rules in the firewall by which we need to ensure the traffic is coming from the external, it should go to firewall. So they will give you some scenarios where we need to update the firewall rule, or they will give you the scenarios where they want to update the system level configuration to make the system more secure. So sometime there will be some kind of a scenarios will be there, a pictorial scenarios, and it is like a lab simulators where you can use your keyboard or you can use your mouse while, by solving the things. So this is the kind of a exam I haven't seen anywhere, to be frank, on the foundation level. Okay, even when I cleared my 601, I was in an impression, no man, I could not make it. I wasn't feeling that, but thank God I had experience of information security, the practical knowledge, so I was able to answer those things. But the question is, even the performance based questions are defined and divided into 3 categories: diagram and hotspot, drag and drop, and third is called as a match the following. So first is called as a diagram or hotspot. Now they will give you the diagram. Okay, they will give you the diagram, and you might see the network diagram with the multiple devices and ask which device provide the best security during the attack. Example, they will give you the system here. They also talk about this is the configuration of a system A, this is the configuration of a system B, this is the configuration of a system C. So select the mouse. So with the help of mouse, we have to select the system which considered as a most secure system. So that is the example of the diagram or hotspot, or they will give you the password scenarios and you have to click. Example, I click here. So it means this is the right answer. Second is called as the drag and drop, which is also like correct order. So you need to arrange the change management sequence or risk assessment sequence. So first step is identify, then analyze, then mitigate. So this is the sequence we have. So you need to arrange in a drag and drop. The third thing, which is called as a match the following. Now in the left side, they will give you protocol example, and the right side, they will give you number. So example, we have a HTTP, we have a telnet, or they will give you FTP. So port number of 23, 21 and 80. So this is how match the following. Okay, FTP is basically called as a, so this is how the FTP is 21. Okay, 2021 we have, telnet is there. Okay, so this is how I'm doing the match the following. So diagram, and make sure you should give good amount of time on this area. If you find confusing, it's okay, move to the next question. It's my suggestion. Okay, and your work will be saved as your work on the PBQ when you're moving from one item to the other items. So these are some tips for completing the PBQ on your exam. Use your time sensibly. If you don't feel confident, move to the next questions. There is a possibility exam can start with the performance based question, or after 2 or 3 multiple choice you will get a performance based question. But make sure, I will assure you based on experience what I've seen, 2 to 5 questions are the performance based and rest are 70 or 75 are the multiple choice. So you have to be very careful when you plan this activity. Some examples of the performance based question, as I said, firewall configuration and wireless configuration. So these are some of the examples I was talking about. So what are the domain coverage we have? So attack and threats and vulnerability, which cover the 24%. Architecture and design, which is a 21%, implementation, which is a 25%, operation and incident 16%, governance, risk and compliance is 14%. If you want to clear this exam, you need to have a good understanding of implementation, attack, threats and vulnerability. I have seen couple of folks, they are good in other areas, but they basically fail miserably when it comes to these areas. So I'm going to cover in detail what are the topics we have. So first is called as a threat, attacks and vulnerability. So threat is an action, attack is an activity that you carry, vulnerability is basically called as a weakness. So in this section, the first area, we have a social engineering technique. In this, you need to have a good understanding of phishing, wishing, spam, dumpster driving, okay, reconnaissance, These are things we have. And what are the countermeasures we have that we can understand, like, intimidations, authenticity, all that. Okay, so these are some of the areas are there, because social engineering is the primary attack vector in the organization. Now next thing is called as a understand the scenario, analyze and potential indicate to determine the type of attacks. So in this section we're going to discuss about malware attacks. We're going to discuss about the malware attacks, where we're going to talk about the ransomware, Trojan, worms, potentially unwanted programs, spyware, remote Trojan. So we are going to discuss about the different kind of virus here, different kind of malwares. We're going to discuss about the password attacks, which talk about dictionary, brute force, Then we're also going to discuss about the physical attack also. That is also the part of that physical attacks, where we're going to discuss about the USB based malicious flash drive, card cloning, skimming, card cloning and skimming. Card cloning and skimming is a part of the new syllabus. So card cloning and skimming is a part of a new syllabus, and there is a new thing which is introduced in the in this section, which is called as a AI, which is called as a adversarial artificial intelligence. I repeat again, adversarial artificial intelligence. In this we're going to discuss about data for machine learning and security for the machine learning algorithm. Along with that, there's a new trend was added here, which is called as a supply chain. As the trend, the companies are basically moving to commercial off-the-shelf software, so security plus assessor or practitioner must be aware about this. So we are going to discuss about the supply chain attack. Then we also introduce a new concept in this, which is called as a cloud-based versus on-prem. They talk about the difference between the cloud-based and on-prem. Along with that, we also going to cover the cryptography attacks. In cryptography attack, we're going to discuss about the birthday attack, collision, and all those. So these are the key activities we have that is covered in this particular element. Now next thing is called as a given a scenario, analyze the potential indicators which is associated with the application level attacks. So what is actually we're going to cover in this area? In this area, we're going to cover about the cross-site scripting. We're going to discuss about the injection. We're going to discuss about pointers, buffer overflow, race conditions, replay attacks. Okay. Then API attack and resource exhaustion is a new topic which is introduced in this section. Okay. API attacks. API attacks and SSL stripping. API attack and SSL stripping is a new part, and one more important thing which is introduced in this section is called as a driver manipulation, because by exploiting a firmware we can able to gain access to the system. So driver manipulation is a new part in which we're going to discuss about the shimming and refactoring. One more thing which is introduced here is called as a pass the hash. Pass the hash. The next part is called as a potential indicator associated with the network attacks. Okay. In this section, we're going to discuss about the wireless, in which we're going to cover about the blue snarfing, blue jacking, RFID, NFC. We're going to cover about the man in the middle attack. We're going to discuss about different kind of threats associated with the DNS, example like DNS poisoning, URL redirection. The new section which is introduced here is DDoS attack with CDN. Along with that, they also introduce the malicious code or script execution. Next is called as a threat actors, vectors, and intelligence sources. In this section, we're going to discuss about the actors and threats, example what is hacker, shadow IT, competitor. Then we also going to discuss about the attribute of actors. Then what are the vectors we have by which we deliver the attack, like direct access, wireless, supply chain. Then we're talking about the threat intelligence source. This is the new section which is added in the security plus, threat intelligence source, TIS, in which we're going to discuss about the OSINT, which is called as open source intelligence. We're going to discuss about the dark web. We're going to discuss about the public and private information. We're going to discuss about the indicator of compromise. One more new thing which is introduced in this section is called as AIS. AIS stand for Automated Indicator Sharing, in which we're going to discuss about the structure, threat, information expression, and we're also going to discuss about trusted automate exchange of indicator information, which is called as a STIX, and the second part is called as a taxi, which we are talking about. So this is basically called as a automatic indicator sharing. We're also going to discuss about the predictive analysis and also going to discuss about the threat map. So these are the new section which is there in the intelligence source. The next part we have called security concern associated with the various vulnerability types. I find, the CompTIA has did a pretty much good job in this area, because in this they have discussed about the zero-day attacks, they discuss about the weak encryptions, unsecure protocols, and most important, they introduce is a third-party risk like vendor management, supply chain, outsource code development, which I could not able to see in any other vendor course. Along with that, they also discuss about how to exploit the weak patch management, then what are the legacy platform impact we have, like data exfiltration, data breach, availability loss, reputation, financials, identity theft. So all those things we covered in this particular part. So the next thing is called as a summarize the techniques used in a security assessment. Now what is basically covered here? In this section they discuss about the threat hunting, which is a new part. They also introduce a vulnerability scan where they're talking about what is false positive, what is false negative. Along with that, they discuss about the intrusive and non-intrusive scan, then CVE, CVSS used for the score reporting. Along with that, they introduce the SIM and the new topic which is introduced in a security assessment in Security Plus is SOAR. SOAR, which is stand for Security Orchestration, Automations and Response. So this is the new topic which is introduced in the Security Plus. Apart from that, then sentiments analysis, security monitoring and user behavior analysis is also the new trend which is added in the CompTIA Security Plus. So I can say that they did pretty much a great work in the domain 1, or you can say as module 1, which is a great opportunity for the people who want to start their career with the cybersecurity. The next part is called as explain the techniques used in a penetration testing. So in this section they have discussed about the white box, black box, rule of engagement, persistence, persistent threats, bug bounty, pivoting. Along with that, they introduce a new section in the pen testing which is called as a give me a second. It is called as a UAV. UAV stand for unnamed aerial vehicles. Okay, unmanned aerial vehicles like drones. We have what is drones, how to pen test drones, war flying, war driving, then exercise type like red teaming, blue teaming, white. All those things are covered in this section. Next we have a architecture and design, a module 2. In this, so architecture design, it's, trust me, one of the best thing I like about CompTIA is architecture and design. Amazing content, even that level of content I could not see in any management courses like CISSP, CCSP and CISM. In this section, they have give more importance to the security concepts in the enterprise environment. I would suggest those who are preparing for CISSP, they can check the domain module 2 of the Security Plus, because in this section we're going to discuss about the configuration management. They discuss about the data sovereignty, which is a new topic. They talk about the data protection, where they're talking about the DLP, masking and all. Along with that, they talk about like HSM, CASB. CASB is basically providing a visibility in the cloud. Apart from that, they talk about the SSL and TLS. Then they talk about the deceptions and disruption, which includes your honeypot, honey files, honeynet, fake telemetry, DNS sinkhole. All those things are the new part in the 2.0 architecture and design. The next part is called as a virtualization and cloud computing concept. Now in this section, they have discussed about the IaaS, infrastructure services, platform as services. One more thing they have introduced was anything as a service. In that section, it's very important, you should give time. Along with that, in this section, they also talk about the MSP. MSP, which is called as a managed security service provider, the difference between the on-prem and off-prem. They talk about the fog computing, which is a part of the new version of Security Plus. They talk about the edge computing, which is again part of a new syllabus. They talk about the thin client. They talk about the container. All are basically introduced in a new syllabus, and along with that, we also talk about the microservices. So microservices and API. Along with that, we also talk about infrastructure as a code. This is also part of a new version of syllabus in which we talk about the SDN, we talk about the SDV. We talk about the SDN, we talk about the SDV, software defined network and software defined visibility, serverless architecture, resource policies, gateways, virtual machine sprawl. All those things are part of the new version of the CompTIA Security Plus, which is really amaze me that how they have defined this content. It is really amazing content, which is I really personally like the domain 2 lot. Third is secure application development, deployment, and automation concept. Now, this is also a very important section they have introduced, because in this section they're talking about when we develop any application, what kind of a security controls or what kind of a security activities we need to consider. All those things are covered in the section 3. So they talk about the code reuse, provisioning and deprovisioning. They talk about the elasticity. What is the new thing they have introduced here is automate scripting, because we're talking about how to develop the application as in a secure manner. So automation is one of the major requirement nowadays. We have automation. So in the automation, they're talking about CI/CS, so DevSecOps and DevOps they have. Along with that, they discussed about continuous delivery, continuous deployment, elasticity, scalability, version controls, all those things part of a 2.0, which is a secure application. Along with that, they have a next part, which is called as a authentication and authorization design concept. In this section, the new thing what they introduced was the multi-factor authentication, and in the biometric they introduced one concept which is called as a gate analysis, GAIT, gate analysis. So gate analysis is there, false acceptance, false rejection is rate, biometric is there. They also introduced the HOTP, which is a very good thing, which is called as a HMAC base one-time password. Then they introduced the smart card authentication, and most important thing was federation with attestation. So federation and attestation is a new topic they introduced. Then they talk about the cybersecurity resilience, where they're giving a scenario of cybersecurity resilience, where they're talking about the redundancies like network interface teaming, load balancers, UPS, power distribution unit. They talk about the type of backup, how to take a backup in the cloud, the type of cloud data backups, and the non-persistent backup format like live boot media, revert to the known state, high availability, which is achieved by the scalability. Then they talk about the diversity of the different technologies. Next is called as a security implication of the embedded and specialized system. Now this section is really one of the best thing I like. One of the best and topic you can say is this area, embedded and specialized systems. In this section they have introduced the FGPA, which is called as a field programming gate array, FGPA. Along with that, SCADA. Oh my god, SCADA was covered so amazingly in the Security Plus. Along with that, they talk about the IoT, they talk about the HVAC, they talk about the multi-function printers, they talk about the system on chip. Okay, they talk about the ZigBee, they talk about the baseband ratio, they talk about the constraint, the challenges that we face in data centers. So all those things are part of the security implication of the embedded and specialized system. Along with that, they talk about the importance of physical security controls, where they talk about the man traps, they talk about the USB data blocker, they talk about the CCTV, they talk about the drone, they talk about the visitor logs. So this is more from a physical security point of view that we're looking in the facility. Along with that, they also talk about the data destructions, example like burning, shredding, pulverizing, degaussing. They talk about the air gap vault, hot SL, cold SLs, which is used in the data centers, placement of the DMZ, lighting, fencing, fire suppression. So these are basically the section which is covered in the 2.0 of physical security control. And next is called as a cryptography concepts. In this section they discuss about the symmetric, asymmetric, they talk about the quantum cryptography, they talk about the mode of operation, they talk about the limitations that we face in the cryptography, they talk about the ECC, they talk about the perfect forward secrecy, they talk about how to use quantum computing. So all those things are part of the cryptography concept. So personally, if you ask me, domain 2 just wow. Now domain 3 is called as a implementation. In this section, the first part they talk about the secure protocols, in which we're talking about the DNSSEC, we talk about the SMIME, they talk about the FTPS, they talk about the IPsec, they talk about the NTP. All those things are the important which is covered in the secure protocol. Then they're talking about the application security solution. It means they're talking about how to protect application security, how to maintain the application security. In this section, they talk about the endpoint protection, boot integrity, security in the database like tokenization, salting, and hashing. They also focus on the FDE, which is called as a full disk encryption. They also talk about the TPM. And the best thing is in application security, they talk about the whitelist and blacklist, which is an important topic in the Security Plus exam. Along with that, they also talk about the secure cookies, HTTP headers. All those things are part of our application security control. Now next is called as a secure network design. In this section, network design, when we say load balancing, they talk about, what is required in a network to maintain the availability, confidentiality, integrity. So they have split this section into load balancing. They talk about the virtual IP, active and passive. They talk about the VLAN, they talk about the VPN, in which they talk about the IPsec, SSL tunnel, HTML5. They also talk about the NAC, network access control. NAC is one of the trending topics, so I'm sure when you're preparing for Security Plus certification, give more attention to the NAC area. Along with that, they also talk about the port security, where they have discussed about the broadcast storm prevention. They talk about the DHCP, they talk about the DHCP snooping. They also talk about the jump box, NIDS. In a firewall, they have covered all category of section. Example like stateful, NGWF, web application firewall, appliance. All those things they have covered in the network designs. Along with that, they also talk about the ACL QoS, which is called as a quality of services. They also talk about the file integrity monitor, port spamming, which is a new part in the 3.0 of implementation. They also discuss about the IDS and IPS sensors types, which is called as a heuristic, signature base, and all that. Now next part is called as a configure and install wireless security settings. Now in this section, the best thing is they have introduced the WPA3. They introduce and they talk about WPA3, which talk about the Wi-Fi protected access, then talk about the CBC MAC, which is a different modes of the DES. They talk about the authentication protocol. They talk about the captive portal. They talk about the heat map. They talk about the Wi-Fi analyzers. They talk about the installation consideration, like what can be the idle survey, what is a Wi-Fi analyzer, what is a channel overlay, which cannot be seen in the CISSP kind of a content. So this is really amazing. Now next section, they talk about implement the secure mobile solution. In this section, they talk about the mobile devices, like they talk about mobile application management. They have covered the UEM, which is called as a unified endpoint management. They also talk about the MDM scenarios, where application management, containerization, screen lock, push notification, GPS tag, bring your own device policy, virtual desktop infrastructure. All those things cover in the mobile solution. Along with that, they have covered in the cybersecurity solution to the cloud. So there they have given the scenario how to secure the data in the cloud. So they talk about the cloud security controls, which is applied on the 3 level. So they have covered in the 3 level, like a storage level, because cloud is formed through 3 things: storage, 3 components we have, network, compute, in which RAM and CPU comes. So what is required in the storage? Example like permission is required, effective encryption is required, replication is required. Along with that, we're going to discuss about the high availability. Now in the network level, they talk about the virtual network, API inspections and integration. And in the compute level, they're talking about the security group, they talk about the VPC. Along with that, there's a new section they have introduced which is called as a solutions. In the solution, they talk about the CASB, they talk about the interconnected cloud environment, they talk about the cloud native controls, which is called CNV with the third party solution, which is a new part of the CompTIA security plus syllabus. And I'm very excited, you know, the people who basically going for this certification, they're going to learn so many things. Now, next part, let me erase that. Given a scenario, implement the identity and account management control. So identity management control is a new topic we have. In this section, we're going to discuss about service provider, identity providers. We're going to discuss about the different kind of an accounts. And we also, the new thing which is introduced in a implement identity and account management control, which is called as a account policies. Account policy is one of the important thing they introduced, where they talk about the password reuse, network location, geofencing, geotagging, time-based login. Example, you cannot log in after 9 a.m. or you can log in from this system only at 9 a.m. Then restrictions of the locations, lockout, disablement, all those things are covered in the account management controls. Next is called as a implement and authentication authorization solutions. So in this section, we're going to discuss about the RBAC, rollback, very important topic. Understanding of a SAML, TCAS and SSO, again important topic, JAP, TPM, HSM. These are the things which we're going to cover in the authentication authorization. And last is called as a PKI, public key infrastructure. In this section, we're going to discuss about the PKI component, which is talk about the certificate authority, registration authority, certificate revocation list, OCSP, CSR. We're also going to discuss about the type of certificate here. We're going to discuss about the certificate format like PEM and PFX, which is called as a privacy enhanced mail or personal information exchange. Along with that, we're also going to discuss about the online offline certificate authorities, certificate binding, trust model, key escrow. These are some of the topics we have in the public key infrastructure. Now, next thing is called as a operation and incident response. Okay, so operations and incident response. Now we have done with the implementation, we have applied the necessary controls that is required. What is next? The next is whatever is happening, continuously do the monitoring, and any kind of an incident happen, we should able to respond to the incident. So in this section, the first part, we're going to understand about the tools which is used to assess the organization security. Now, what are the tools is required? The question is that, you know, we divide this section into 4 categories. One is called as a network reconnaissance and discovery, where we're going to discuss about the different kind of tools we use like traceroute, NSLOOKUP, Nmap. Then we talk about the file manipulations, which is done through a tailcat or grep commands. grep we call, or chmod to manage the permissions. We also going to discuss about shell and script environment, forensics, in which in forensic we're talking about the memory dump, FTK imager, then data sanitization, password cracker. All those things are covered in the 4.0, which is called as a organization security assessment. The second part, we're going to understand about the importance of policy process. See, policy is a driving factor for any organization. Any kind of initiatives we have to introduce in the organization, the first thing we need a policy. Policy drive the processes, the procedures. Example, like every system must be protected with the password. So that is the policy. The password must be 8 character. That is a standard. How to follow 8 character password, there is a procedures. So there should be a proper policy process for the incident response. So everyone should be in a same page. So here we're going to discuss about the different kind of a policy. We're going to discuss about the processes of the incident response like preparation, identification, containment, eradication. We're also going to discuss about the exercise, make sure that everyone understand the plan effectively. So we conduct and drive the plans like tabletop, walkthrough, simulations. We're also going to discuss about the attack frameworks. Attack framework is a new section which is introduced in the 4.0. So there we're going to discuss about the MITRE attack, MITRE, MITRE attack. We're going to discuss about the diamond model. Okay, and one more important CKC, cyber kill chain. Along with that, we're going to discuss about the retention policy. We're going to discuss about continuity of an operation plan, BCP plan, stakeholder requirement. Those are part of the new version of new version of the Security Plus syllabus. Next is called as the data source. Now incident has been done, we collect the data so we can able to do the forensic investigation on that. So the important thing in this section, they have introduced the SIEM dashboard where we're talking about the sensor, sensitivity, correlation, then the different type of logs. Then we're talking about the syslog, we're talking about the bandwidth monitor by which we're doing investigations. Next is called as a given the incident, apply the mitigation techniques or control to secure the environment. And last part is basically called as a digital forensic. I want to combine these two sections because they are somehow similar to each other, because when the incidents occur, we need to apply some necessary control. So what we have a endpoint security solutions in which we update the application whitelisting, blacklisting, or quarantine all the viruses. Quarantine is not about the COVID quarantine here. Any kind of a changes required in the configuration. So we're talking about the firewall rules, MDM, update the content. Then we also talk about the SOAR. SOAR is a new part, as I discussed in here in the SOAR. We're talking about runbook. We're talking about the playbook. So runbook and playbook is there. That is basically part of the new version. So this is all. And in the last part, when we're talking about the digital forensics, in this section, we're going to discuss about the legal hold over the data, chain of custody, tags. They also talk about the e-discovery, which is a part of a new version of a syllabus. They talk about how to drive forensic investigation in the cloud. Now, one thing you need to remember from the exam point of view, how to drive forensic investigation in the cloud is it start with the SLA. Based on the agreement only you can able to drive. So if they are agreed that they are okay to conduct investigation in the cloud, which is not possible, so you cannot able to drive that. So in the SLA, right to audit clause must be there. Okay, regulatory jurisdiction requirement, data need to be report as per the data breach notification law. When you collect the data for forensic investigation, the data must be hash so we can able to track the integrity, checksum, and we have a strategic intelligence with the counter intelligence requirement by which we can able to perform the forensic investigation. So these all are tasks we do in a running operation stage. The last is called as a governance and risk and compliance. Very, very important. Might be for the beginners, it will be a challenge to understand this section. In this section, we're going to discuss about the different type of controls. So we have a managerial control, operational control, technical controls, and they are implemented in a different type like preventive, detective, corrective, deterrent, compensating, physical. So it is very important for you to understand the type and category of controls. Next thing is called as a regulatory standard. 2 to 3 questions will be there on regulatory standards, especially which I feel that okay, you need to understand is GDPR, European privacy regulation, especially the principles. Then we have a standard called ISO 27001. Then we have a PCI DSS. This is something is an industry requirement, so definitely a Security Plus guy must be familiar with that. Along with that, NIST standards and SOC 2, SOC 3, SOC 1 report. I have did one dedicated video on that, so make sure you should refer. The new thing they introduce here is CSA, Cloud Security Alliance, which introduce a CCM controls, which is used to assess the cloud provider with the necessary control requirement. The next part is called as the policy part. In this section, they have discussed about the different kind of key activities they do in the organization, like mandatory vacation, separation duty, background check whenever we hire any candidate, trained people on the security awareness, like introducing a gamification, which is a new part of the Security Plus computer-based trainings. When we contact the third party, do the risk assessment of the third party with the help of SLAs, MOU, business partnership agreements, end of life, end of services, which is quite a new part of the Security Plus syllabus. Along with that, they also introduce the credential policies and organization policy element. The next part is called as a risk management process. In this section, we're going to discuss about the risk management framework. We talk about identifying, analyzing, and mitigating a risk. We're talking about inherent residual risk. You should know the difference between the risk appetite, residual risk, and risk tolerance. You need to understand the different type of calculation that we do in the risk assessment, which is called as a qualitative and quantitative. They also cover the BIA, in which they talk about the MTD, RTO, RPO. All those things are the important part of the risk management concept. The next thing is basically called as a privacy and sensor data. It is very important to protect the data privacy. So whenever we collecting the data, make sure there should be limitation in the collection of a data, because more you collect, more liability comes to you. So how to ensure the necessary security is there? So we have a PET, which is a part of a new syllabus of Security Plus. PET, which is called as a privacy enhancing technologies. In this section, we're going to discuss about the data minimization, data masking, tokenization, anonymization, pseudonymization, which is a part of a GDPR. Then PIA is their privacy impact and assessment, which talk about assess the level of privacy that we need in the systems. We also talk about the different type of data roles, different type of data types. We talk about the type of roles we have, like data owner, controller, processor. So all those things part of the GRC, which is a domain 5. So it is a warning for everyone who are new to the security. This domain will be a big challenge for you to understand. So now we understood the resources, the domains. Now we're going to discuss about what are the resources you can use to prepare for Security Plus. The first thing is book. So CompTIA Security Plus book by Daryl, or official course where you can go for this. Okay. Then videos, we have a Udemy course from Jason, 21 hours. Okay. Video lectures with the essential information needed to pass the Security Plus 501 or 601. So Jason has covered the 601 content. Along with that, they give you a study guide. Along with that, they will give you PDF questions, mock simulators. Along with that, another course we have from Mr. Mike, which is a 19 hours recording. Both are available on Udemy. For free resources, you can go with the Professor Messer, all videos, LinkedIn Learning, Mike Chappell, and also for a good practice questions, you can go with the blogs.getcertifiedgethead.com. You will get a good number of questions there. Along with that, we as a InfoSec Train offer 40 hours of training with the post support. And the advantage, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will also provide you discounted Security Plus global vouchers, like 10% discount will be there, 10 to 20% of discount will be there. I will give my email address in a comment box, so you can just drop me a mail which voucher you're looking for in the CompTIA, like Security Plus, CYSA, or any voucher of the CompTIA. We can provide you in a 20% discount from the market rate. So this is all from my side. I would suggest you can refer the Udemy course of Jason. It's a pretty much good. I've seen the great review, and if you're looking for the book, Daryl did the amazing work. But by end of the day, you can follow the official course where it will be great that from the CompTIA. We can also provide you discounted price of the official courseware if you're looking for. And I would suggest you first start with the Professor Messer videos free, which give you a kind of understanding, then Cybrary, which give you the free videos, LinkedIn Learning. So these free resources can build a baseline for you. Then you can decide which book you want to go for it, or you can come to us if you're looking for to save time or something like that. So our instructors basically well mapped with the new version of Security Plus, and we have maintained so far 98% passing rate of a Security Plus. So for more information, do subscribe my YouTube channels and do follow me on Insta. I will try my best to bring more and more Security Plus and other videos. My name is Prab Nair, and thank you for watching this video.